take a quick minute here. Andy, Tactical Jackalope, may recall, for those people that are new to the channel, we participated in a top speed build that he did. And this past week, he had put up a quick video asking you to identify what kind of modeler you are. Your choices were, fairly rigidly defined, I guess, into being a builder, someone who enjoys the actual physical construction progress more than anything else. Basically, you're all about assembly and, at least being the token automotive guy within this group of people that are going to, that if you go looking for video responses to this, this probably be where most of people would stall out when they get to the painting. They love all the sub-assembly, they love all the actual building and stuff like that, but when they get to paint, either lack confidence or just they don't like that part of the process, then they just sort of peter out and things don't get finished. Then you have the painter, which is somebody who's, a creative person who enjoys the painting process more than anything else. I think there's a lot of people this qualifies for on the automotive side of things, that they paint their model before they do anything else to it. They don't, test fit anything to it necessarily. Do one quick mock-up, make sure all the parts are there, and then they're off painting the body, and they've got the thing in paint before they started a single sub-assembly, before they started any assembly whatsoever. They're a guy or a gal, possibly, who has, 25, 30 painted models that are still unbuilt. Bodies are done, they've bbeen polished out, they're ready to go, but they just have no, motion, metaphor is not the word I was looking for. There were no motivation to actually build the actual model kit itself. And then the third type was scratch builder. Now, on the automotive side of things, at least, I find that a good deal of people don't seem to understand the difference between scratch building and kit bashing. Because scratch building, I'm sorry to tell a lot of people out there on the low rungs of that automotive building ladder, taking something out of another kit and doing some little doodad to it isn't scratch building. Scratch building is the type of thing that Mark Jones did with all of his Super 7s, where he essentially built them out of thin air, especially this most recent large-scale one that was entirely conceived around a piece of brass he bent into the shape of a hood, just screwing around one day, and he built an entire, almost 2-year-long project based on that hood shape. That's scratch building. Taking the engine out of something and forcing it into something else isn't scratch building. It might be very light scratch building in the sense you built a engine mount for it or a transmission mount or something along those lines, but it's not, you didn't create something from nothing. Taking something out of something and putting it into something else is scratch building. That's kit bashing or parts swapping or whatever the heck the term is you want to use. So, where am I at in all this? Well, I know a lot of people will be like, well, he's a hoarder. Yeah, well, that wasn't one of the choices. I find that I don't do much scratch building at all. Really, I don't. It's Carlos Mendez, who did a video on this, probably summed it up best. I scratch build as a means to an end. If something is going to be required to make something do something in the build itself, or fix a horrible problem, then I may be in that. But even then, it really depends on what the kit is, how motivated I am to it, how much I care. I mean, there's a lot of, when you start getting into, let's face it, guys, if you're an automotive modeler or even an IPMS guy, because IPMS guys can have them big stashes too. Don't think that they're building one tank at a time and suddenly they don't have 50 more of them sitting out back someplace. That I enjoy the building process, but I like the actual. The culmination of the building process. I used to paint on commission when I was younger, when I used to do a lot of contest modeling. I used to paint on commission. So I enjoy the painting process a great deal. I'm not scared of painting. I don't do airbrushing, mainly because I don't really have a way to do it. It's too much work to lug everything outside and lug it back in again. But even when I was doing commission painting, with rattle cans, and nobody seemed to really care or notice. I guess maybe I wasn't doing high-level commission work, but I was certainly getting people past that paint hump that they didn't particularly care to, tackle themselves. And, I get finishes on at least a few things that I'm, happy with. But I I pull apart 2 and 3 and I stretch it into like a sub thing. I call a builder of what I like to do the technician. Now, that doesn't mean I'm building technically accurate. That doesn't mean that I'm following every technically accurate aspect of building. I'm not, you know what, guys, if I can't see it later, I don't sand the seams off of it. You know, if I can't see it later, I'm not filling the, you know, ejector pins or filling the seams. I'm sorry, I don't have the gumption and the give a damn that if you can't see when I'm done, that I need to fix that. I know there's a lot of builders out there that do that. I have to fix every single part of every single model. And I personally am not bothered by that aspect. I know a lot of people sometimes are. They're like, oh, I'll know the problems there. Well, okay, you're going to know the problems there. I know it's there, and I don't give two rats' asses about it. But what I mean by being a technician is I love the process of planning the build and the process of actually the technical aspects of the build. A lot of people will know me as being somebody who will take the instruction kits out of multiple builds, and not active builds, just multiple boxes that I have laying around. I might grab like, whoops, wrong arrow. I might grab like 3 or 4 of these kits back here, pull the instructions out of them all, and then just go look at them. I love to study the diagrams. I love to plot out in my mind how I would work on the kit, what colors I would like to use. I mean, I don't write any of this stuff down. Hell, I probably forgot half of it anyway. But really technically accurate kits like the Tamiya Ferrari, the Aoshima Lamborghinis, the Aoshima McLaren F1 GTR Longtail, things like that. There's a lot of planning that goes into that. When you start having all the panels that open and you're starting to look ahead, you try to, especially on the automotive side of things, I know this doesn't apply necessarily to the military guys, but you're looking at, because military guys, let's face it, it's a base, it's some decals, it's weathering, it's all this other stuff, and uniformity isn't a big deal because, a lot of the times, whatever you're building, the uniformity is long gone. It's engaged in battle. It's got replacement parts. The colors don't match. But on the automotive side of things, you're looking at what types of can you attach the front clip and the back clip and the spoilers and the mirrors and all these other things to the model before you paint it, so that you're not trying to attach them later in assembly. You might screw the paint up, or you may get in a situation where if you paint like the body one day and then the front and rear assemblies another day, the paint shades aren't the same. So you plan well in advance to try to get that stuff done all at one time, hopefully, so it all comes out as one color. Another thing you guys know that I'm the GT3 decal guy. I love taking this, which is just a series of just random swatches of color and things like that, and then turning it into the race car that's on the back. This is actually a brand new set of decals we'll be looking at in another video here in a second. But to do this, you have to plan well in advance of how you're going to put this. I mean, all of the green or yellow, however you want to look at it, it's really yellow. It looks kind of green when I look at it on the camera here, it looks like a lime, but it's really a bright yellow. All of this bright yellow stuff has to go down first before anything else. And so you have to have the right finish underneath of the stripes, so that the stripes don't sit on fuzz or paint errors or things like that. And again, it's the technical aspect of planning it. And I'm also the decal guy. From people who follow the McLaren build, decal guy. I love taking those big complex sheets of decals and turning them into something. That's my creative process, is taking the blank canvas of a car that's painted whatever colors it needs to be. Usually a lot of these GT3s are one uniform color. Some of them are two tones. And then taking that just blank kit that's two colors, one color, 5 colors, and then taking all those decals and applying them to it and seeing it come to shapes. Take a picture of it with a couple decals on, and take a couple pictures of it more with half the decals, and then the whole one side and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, Andy, that's my gist. I guess that makes me a builder and a painter, but not a scratch builder. But I'm an instruction studier. I love I know a lot of the automotive people especially love throwing their instruction sheets away. All these guys will be all like, "Well, I don't need the instruction sheets for anything. Instructions are just an opinion of how it should go together." And I just I don't necessarily follow the instructions once for building because again, you're looking for those shortcuts around, especially body assembly things, getting everything that you need for a body put together all at once rather than following the instructions. But I love instructions. I can't get enough of them. So anyway, guys, I'm going to put a link down in the description to I call him Texas Andy because he's from Texas, but down to Tactical Jackalope's original video if you want to check it out. And I don't know if this will sort of spread among the automotive group or not, but anyway, that's my thoughts on it, and we'll see you guys on the other side.